You are welcome to yet another episode of LFN What's Your Say? The #1 listening show where we discuss real issues with real people like you. We are still featuring R. Kelly. Real name Robert Sylvester Kelly. Also known as the R&B King. The case against R. Kelly has been dominated by controversies of all kinds, with government being caught off guard multiple times breaking the law in broad daylight, driven by their strong desire to deliver a job that they were clearly assigned to. And that was locking up R. Kelly for the rest of his life, which since 2019 they have been working hard to achieve. The government left no stone unturned and treated this mission like a national project, commencing with a documentary and street activism by the Me Too movement. But still they failed to find sufficient evidence to convince the world that R. Kelly was the predator they have been describing. Desperate to get the job done, the government began to panic, and like that, the U.S. statute was violated with utmost impunity and in a way that no one could have ever imagined. They were caught off guard at multiple levels, starting with the direct involvement of the prosecutors in the gathering of evidence, a role that is primarily gazetted for the federal police. Then they violated the statute of limitations when they resurrected claims from events that allegedly occurred decades ago, in the process reintroducing charges R. Kelly had already beaten in the 2008 trial that saw him acquitted by the same honorable court. This was not only double jeopardy but also contempt of the entire Department of Justice as an institution, considering they had previously acquitted R. Kelly with a final judgment issued and the case closed. The only way to contest this 2008 judgment was for the plaintiff to file an appeal, which was never done. The government then conspired with the Bureau of Prisons officers to leak restricted prison calls and emails to the public, and use them to win over defense witness Azriel Clary to their side in an act of witness tampering. Meanwhile, new damning evidence shows that Azriel's case was a fraud right from the beginning, as it was her own parents who planted her into R. Kelly's life to cause him the mayhem we can now see. The newly unearthed text message evidence where Azriel's mother Alice Clary shamelessly texted R. Kelly pretending to be her daughter and leading him on have only proved that the first interview Gayle King had with Azriel and Joycelyn Savage, both girlfriends of R. Kelly at that time, fetched the truth. However, because single-sided and incompetent journalist Gayle King was only trying to sell a certain narrative, she was the first to return to studio and discredit the truth the women had to say, suggesting R. Kelly had been listening in on the conversation behind the walls, an allegation she cannot prove. Gayle King also made sure to return with another interview with Azriel Clary after her conversion to government witness, and made sure to leave out Joycelyn Savage this time for her dissenting views. At this interview, Gayle King spoke to Azriel like she was finally relieved and happy about her flipping on the R&B King, literally congratulating her for doing what she presented as the right thing. It's not very common that professional and experienced journalists to the caliber of Gayle King be bent towards a particular view, to the point of making the interviewee feel uneasy to speak their mind. She made it rather difficult when Azriel spoke the truth in the first interview, yet made it so easy for her to later tell the lies just because at this point, the two spoke the same language. Earlier this year we received information that Gayle King, who has been the cream at CBS, will not be renewing her contract with the corporation, and instead will be crossing over to bigger and better pastures at CNN to host the new show King Charles along with colleague Charles Barkley. The latest we have about this is that CNN is currently reconsidering this appointment of Gayle King, and the likely reason could be the inaccuracies in her journalism that saw her bent towards selling a particular narrative against sourcing the truth from her interviewees. To Gayle King's disappointment, the newly discovered text message evidence which shows Azriel's parents technically pimping their own daughter supposed to be their beloved to R. Kelly, and at one point texting him pretending to be their daughter and leading him on, only served to show the weaknesses in Gayle King's journalism. How could she have heard two great opportunities at interviewing this woman Azriel Clary, but missed the truth at both attempts? In journalism, there is something called media bias. This simply refers to situations when the media systematically emphasizes a single point of view in a manner that contravenes the standards of professional journalism. The dangers of Gayle King's style of biased journalism is that it can lead to societal polarization, intolerance of dissent and social segregation. In Gayle King's case, however, her biased journalism denied viewers of CBS the opportunity of knowing the truth of what truly happened with Azriel Clary in relation to the case against R. Kelly. The world was deceived and made to believe Gayle King's narrative and not what the text message evidence now proves. It's therefore right for one to say Gayle King was a leader in the R. Kelly defamation strategy to destroy his social image and destroy his music career. It's in fact difficult to understand why CNN would want to recruit a person of this character in the first place. Prejudicial from the beginning and compromised when it comes to her work as a journalist. While this review of her career scores may not necessarily result on her dismissal from the CNN workforce, for they still need him for her numbers, the remark leaves a stain on her long life career as a reporter. The case against R. Kelly has served as a perfect tool when it comes to exposing people like Gayle King and their disturbing character as journalists. She has proved that just like Jim DeRogatis, she is no different from everyone else simply hating on R. Kelly and prejudicing him for no good reason. According to Ethel Keckaff, I knew R. Kelly was innocent all along. A lot of stuff did not make sense at all. Indeed, Gayle King needs to be taken off air until she has learned her lesson. She should be reporting the truth, but instead has chosen to publish her own personal opinions and later try to make it seem true. Enough is enough from the media reporters who have pursued R. Kelly like haunting monitoring spirits. While she may remain on TV, Gayle King, I am sure this R. Kelly case experience has left a bad mark on her career. I personally wouldn't employ such a person irrespective of the numbers she commands on her social media. According to Lisa McRae, Gayle King is a liar. She made up the whole story about R. Kelly coughing loud to intimidate the women allegedly from behind the Trump Tower walls. How is it even possible that only 3 people were able to hear him cough but no one else? If he had done that really loud to scare the women like she suggests, we probably would have heard the sound. The government created their own narrative against R. Kelly and the journalists followed through. She thought she would get a second hail for re-interviewing Azriel, but then she said she lied about everything, which made her even more a liar than we had imagined. These guys have realized they can make money off speaking on R. Kelly, but of late, their ever-changing statements are beginning to make them sound insane. If you wish to take part in a live interview discussing any of these topics, let us know by sending an email to sashalfnmedia@gmail.com for scheduling. Thank you for watching today's video, a production of LFN Media, giving you another perspective of issues at hand. We make it our business to keep you updated with the truth amidst the cloud of lies the media wants you to believe. It is therefore important to subscribe to this channel, hit the bell icon and allow all notifications so that you don't miss out whenever we publish a new video.